hello, and welcome to Happiness by Habit. I'm your host, Silvana Pimentel. Here, we're gonna share stories, insights, and habits that help us all live more inspired and joyful lives. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome a true champion of storytelling and transformation, Lacole Smith. Lacole is an accomplished author, mentor, and creative force behind AL Publishing and Consulting LLC, a one-stop shop that takes clients from their very first word on paper to a successful launch, whether it's on a podcast, a speaking event, or through selling their book. Her mission is simple yet powerful: to help people write their personal or business story so they can heal, inspire, and accomplish their goals. Lacole, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Absolutely. Very nice. Can you share with us what inspired you to become the author, mentor, and launch AL Publishing and Consulting LLC?
It came from the fact that when I wrote my book, Leaps of Faith, I had to do a lot of transitioning. I had to go over here for editing. I had to get with this person for formatting. I had to get somebody else to do my book cover, and it was a lot. And I felt like even though the person that was helping me, they wasn't really hands-on through the process. So it was like, okay, I gotta reach out for you and I gotta find out, okay, what's the next step? I gotta see what's the next thing I gotta do. How much is it gonna cost? So I felt like a lot of people go through this. So I was like, I'm going to help some people eliminate all of this. So at first I just started telling people how to go about getting their books published without having to go all over the place. The more I talked about it, and people was like, well, why don't you just have your own publishing company? And I was like, no, I can't do that. That's not. The more I thought about it and the more people I was helping, I was like, well, it'll make more sense to have that one-stop shop where I have everybody under my umbrella and I know the quality of their work and I know it's going to be done correctly. It just made more sense to go ahead and start AL Publishing and Consulting. So now, once they get my author mentorship, they're already under that umbrella for the publishing and consulting. And the consulting part comes because I'm a professional certified life coach. So if they're dealing with any traumas or anything, I can kind of guide them through that. If it's something I can't help them with, I can resource them out to other people that can help them better. So it's kind of like just a nice little cozy world of helping everybody do everything and make sure that it's done right and you're not being taken advantage of. So that was the purpose of me wanting to extend that out to them.
I love that story. It's very inspiring, and it must be very rewarding to help others to
It
do something
is.
as important as writing a book. I
Yeah.
guess a lot of people have in their bucket list or their dreams, their goals to write a book, right? It's something very
Yeah.
important that comes.
A lot of people, they say, oh, I've thought about writing a book all my life and I just didn't know what to do. That's what I hear the most from people. They don't know where to start or what to do or how to get started with the process. So I tell them all you need is a blank sheet of paper and just write. It doesn't matter, you don't have to have any punctuations. You don't have to have the correct English. You don't need none of that. All you have to do is put your thoughts on that piece of paper and just keep writing. We can fix it afterward, but just get everything out. Get it on that piece of paper and make sure that you're telling the story the way you want it told. It can be perfected afterwards. So that's my method of how I kind of get my people going. With me as their mentor, they don't have to worry about do I need to know how to do this? Do I need to have, I'm handling that part and all they're doing is writing. So
Yeah.
all they have to do is focus on writing, and you don't have to focus on all the little what ifs and the could be's because it's already taken care of because you're under my mentorship. So it makes it a lot easier for my clients, and they seem to love it that way.
I'm sure that so they
Yeah.
can focus on what is important to them or what they know how to do. Some of them, because a lot of people have this idea they want to talk about, they want to share with the world. So you make it very easy for them. Let's talk about your motivation. What is your why? What drives you to help others share their stories? Why do you believe that our personal and business narratives have the power to heal and inspire change?
Well, I like to help other people because of the fact that it's just me. That's who I am. My why is my grandkids. And a lot of people thought it was going to be something different, but my biggest why is my grandkids. I want to give them something to let them know that no matter what you want to do, no matter how strange it may seem, how impossible it may be, it can be accomplished if you just work at it. So that's my why, because them seeing me pull together a whole publishing company and getting that together, and I'm teaching them things along the way. So they're learning, oh, I can do this. Like if I want to start a business, I can do that. If I want to do something else, I can do these things. So those are my definite whys.
Those why.
My oldest one is about to be 10 next week.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, I take that back. Today the 10th. He's gonna be 10 tomorrow.
Tomorrow, my goodness.
He'll
Oh,
be 10 tomorrow. My only granddaughter will be 9 next month. Then my third one will be 6 in May. My fourth one will be 5 in May. Let's see.
how many do you have?
6.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot. And you seem pretty young to have so many grandkids. That's beautiful. And have
Let's see.
you noticed either one of your grandkids have an interest to perhaps write a book? Because they are also younger authors.
Well, they haven't had an interest to write a book yet, but my oldest grandson, the one's gonna turn 10, he says that he wants to do a YouTube channel. I was like, okay. And I told him, I was like, if you do a YouTube channel, I'll do a YouTube channel.
Look at that.
I already have one. He don't know that.
So
But
you're
the
already
other
giving
day, the
a
other day
free work.
when he
Oh,
was here
that's
the other day, I
beautiful.
told him
I
that.
love that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And then
Oh, uh-huh.
what was
Go
the
ahead.
next question? Okay.
Oh, mhm.
For the next part of it, it's kind of like, I guess the motivation behind everything to help people. It's just my genuine spirit to help. That's something I've always had within me. Even since I was young, I always wanted to help. I always wanted to see people better themselves. I always wanted to, fix a problem for people. That was always something that I wanted to do all my life. I've wanted to fix things. So I definitely was looking at all the opportunities that writing gives them to fix the problems that they've been through or the emotions that they've been through. So I think that was my thoughts for the healing process of everything, because you have to get it out to heal. And a lot of times we don't want to tell people, like talk to one-on-one with people for the healing process. But if you can write and heal at the same time, it's just as good. And then you're going to help somebody else that's going through what you're going through. So,
Such a beautiful process,
then,
right? So
yeah,
therapeutic, but also healing for yourself, for others. It's like a win-win for everybody.
it is. It is, definitely.
Lacole, let's talk about you and your healing process. You did have a big accident at some
Yes, I
point in your
did.
life. Let's talk about that. Walk us through that journey.
Uh, well, in 2011, I was at work. One of my twins called me from work, and they was like, well, they called me at work, and they was like, can you come to the school and pick up the donut order, because they had a donut order that was going out. So
Mhm.
I told my boss, look, I'm gonna run to my kids' school. I'm gonna drop the donuts off at home, and I'll be right back, because we had
All right.
inventory that day.
Wow.
Obviously, I didn't make it back to work.
My goodness.
But I made it to the school fine. I was getting ready to turn to go to the house to drop the donuts off, and a 18 wheeler was behind me, and I remember it being behind me the whole time. So I put my signal on early, because I know it takes them a little while to slow down. And then it was another one coming from the other direction, so I didn't go ahead and turn, because I would have got hit by the second 18 wheeler. My cousin was coming out of it was like a little road. So I couldn't even turn fast if I wanted to, because she was right there. I glanced up in my rearview mirror and I grabbed the steering wheel, because I knew I was going to get hit. And he hit me from behind, knocked me like down the road a little ways. And then I got hit by the second one, which pushed me back in the opposite direction that I was going.
Oh my God, Lacole. Two.
Two.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And all I could think was I had some water that didn't have a top on it.
Mhm.
So the water splashed up in my face, and I was thinking it was blood everywhere. So I kept like touching, feeling, trying to see where I was bleeding. The motor was on the ground. Hood of the automobile was on the front of the second 18 wheeler. So it had kind of like peeled it off, kind of. And I was in the opposite direction on the opposite side of the street that I originally started on. The automobile was smoking, so my cousin came to help me get out, and I cut my finger on a piece of glass. So that was the only blood that you could see.
Are you serious? Oh my goodness. So it was, even though it was a really big accident, you didn't bleed as
It was a
from
big
that car.
accident.
It
It
was a
was
big accident for sure. Oh
Yeah,
my
it was a
goodness.
big accident,
Oh,
but God, He spared me. He spared me.
sure.
So
You better know for
well
sure that you have
protected.
a major mission in life. It's like
Yeah.
living again, being born again, right? How do you feel about that?
At the moment, I was just trying to get through everything. But as I look back on it, I know that he protected me and saved me for a reason and a purpose. I didn't know that at that time, but he basically saved me for now to help other people go through the things that they're going through, to help them, people that's been through accidents, any kind of trauma. Those are the people I like to focus on the most because I can relate to them.
Absolutely. My
But
goodness. Wow. What a story.
I
That's
definitely, it was a mind changing time in my life too.
for
Yeah.
sure. How long it took you to recover from that accident?
Basically, I'm still recovering because I still have to get my back worked on every now and then. But the actual recovery part of it was about 9.5 months. I was
Okay.
down because my back did get fractured. I didn't have any cuts, so, I wasn't bleeding, but my back got fractured and the seatbelt tore into my hip on the right side. So I could still see the indentation from the seatbelt in my right hip.
My goodness. Wow. Well, I'm so happy you're here with us and that you have a major mission for your life and you are able to help others heal and write major books to heal, to help heal others even like, so it's like a mission of helping others realize their mission. So it's a double purpose situation.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, my goodness, Lacole, that's a really impressive story.
Yeah.
How do you realize and when that happened, what was your first approach? Because a lot of times bad things happen to people and they can either go the other, get depressed, get sad because it
Yeah.
can be overwhelming. Or do what you did. You recovered and you are using that experience to help others. When
Yeah.
did you realize how was that journey like?
Well, at first it was hard. The healing process was hard because I have a daughter that has cerebral palsy. So at that point she wasn't really walking a whole lot. I couldn't pick up on her. I couldn't really help her. I was very active in my children's activities at school, so I wasn't able to go to anything. I was on bed rest for 4.5 months. They didn't want me doing a lot of moving and bending and twisting. So that part was very hard. It was very hard. It was very emotional because I was never the person that wanted to rely on other people for help. At that part in my life, I had to learn to be patient, which was hard. I had to learn to rely on others, which I didn't like. But the process gave me like a peace, an inner peace. Because I had my point where I was mad and upset. But it gave me an inner peace afterwards because I had time to lay there and think and appreciate the fact that I was still living
Oh my
because I
God.
could have been gone. And I had
Absolutely.
4 young daughters at that time, so they would have been without their mom. So it gave me the opportunity to be grateful that he spared my life and realize it's something bigger than me. And that was the biggest aha I got out of that wreck. Yeah.
That's for sure. Wow. Fascinating and very inspiring story. Let's talk about your authors and how you can help them. I guess one of the major obstacles that people run into when writing a book might be self-doubt. What do you, or finding their unique voice? How do you help your clients overcoming these hurdles?
That one-on-one consultations that we have because I meet with them weekly. So we talk about it. We talk it out. Like if they're feeling stuck, I'll give them questions to kind of edge it on. Well, what all did you feel in that moment? Or how long did it take you for to realize that this was going on, depending on who the person is. So even if they're feeling stuck, I'll give them questions to kind of edge them on to write more. Or I'll give them suggestions once they've written something. I'll go back and I'll say, well, add this in, add that in, take this out and put it here. It'll be better in this part of the book rather than that part of the book. So it's very hands-on. It's very, really, really just involved with their writing process, making sure that it's, I'm not going to say perfect, but as well prepared as it can be. And that it's their story and it's told the way they want it to be told. A lot of times when you go through publishers, they want you to take stuff out, or they want to tweak it, as they say, to their standards. Well, with AL Publishing and Consulting, your story is your story. I want it to be told the way it happened because that's how it's going to help other people. And I make sure that their emotions that are tied to that story are able to shine, but at the same time, they're able to heal from those emotions too. And they know how to tap into those emotions to make that story how it needs to be. Because some people hold back, they try to hold back because they don't want to be judged by people, or they don't want people to say, oh, putting on a front, or you're this or you're that, or they don't feel like their story is important enough. And then I make sure that they understand somebody is going through this exact thing right now, and they don't know what way to turn. They don't know who to talk to. But if they read your book, it's going to help them through that process.
Yes, for sure. In today's world, sharing a story isn't just about the book or getting on a podcast or in speaking events. How do you guide your clients to use all these platforms effectively to amplify their message?
Well, I have like a checklist for them once they finish writing the book. Most of the time, like if I've been on a podcast, I suggest that they go on the same podcast that I've been on because I know how that platform is. As far as speaking events, I'm always looking to see who's looking for speakers that relate to their topics, podcasts that are relating to their topics. Reaching out, I teach them how to write letters to their local newspapers, TV stations, so that they can get their word out that way as well. It's a full process, and I'm with them for a year. Some of them I'm with a little bit over a year. But once they're in my program, it's for a full year. You have me for a full 12 months, and you get me every single week for 12 months. 52 weeks, I'm right there with you the whole process. And even once your book, because some people books come out in 3-4 months, I'm still with you for the rest of that time for to get you on the platforms, for to make sure that everything is handled correctly. So I'm right there with them. And even once they finish the program, some of them come back and do it's a like monthly mentorship where they kind of keep their adrenaline going and they keep that writing process up, but they know how to do everything else. So they just there for my little tweaks on how to do their story correctly.
Yes, for sure. Very important.
Yeah.
Looking back on your journey, what was the one piece of advice you would give to your younger self, especially when you were just starting out in the world of storytelling and publishing?
The advice that I would give to my younger self was do it right then, because I kept putting off. So I wish I would have started the process when it was presented to me rather than keep pushing it off, because I don't know how many people I wasn't able to help because I didn't do it when it was presented to me. So I look back on that and I feel like, somebody might have missed out on that message that they could have gotten that might have helped them through that process a lot quicker, or just in general.
Yeah, that's important because a lot of people hesitate and just wait for the perfect moment to go ahead and do it. And a lot of times the circumstances are against you and you need to just do it. And sometimes it's not going to be perfect, but you just do your best. And it's more important to do it than to do it perfectly, right?
Right.
So, yeah. That's a
Definitely.
good can help a lot of people. Let's talk about habits, happy habits. The name of this podcast is Happiness by Habits. So we would love to hear what happy habits you use in your daily life.
I listen to gospel music every day.
Okay.
That's that's my happy spot. And really, it don't always just have to be gospel music. I love music anyway, just in general. But that puts me in my happy spot. Being around my grandkids, that's my happy spot. Just sometimes just being in a quiet area with nothing on. Like I'll sit in the dark and just kind of think. So that's my happy spot as well. Because especially if the grandkids been over, it's been like Wild Kingdom because they running and jumping and bouncing and moving. And I just want that quiet time to kind of unwind. So sometimes I'll have the lights out and the outside lighting coming in through the window, stuff like that. Just kind of wind down. That's something that I do. But I like to write, and at one point I wanted to be a fashion designer. So sometimes I even still draw designs too. So that's something that I do as well. That's my
Nice.
happy spot. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's really nice. What can we expect from Lacole Smith this year? Is there anything, any interesting projects you're working on? Any new book?
Actually, it is.
Oh,
I
really?
have
Tell us about it.
I have a new book that's coming out. Actually, it's coming out next month. My
Mm.
mom, the anniversary of my mom passing, and it's
Oh,
called Reimagining Reality.
uh-huh.
And it was supposed to come out last year, and when it didn't come out on her anniversary last year, I kind of was like discouraged. I was gonna put it out for my birthday, which is June the 1st,
Mm-hmm.
and I kept adding to the book, so
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
finally decided, okay, this is a stopping point. So it'll be out next month. It's called Reimagining Reality, The Power of Twisted Words. And I'm taking words that people use negatively.
Mm-hmm.
And this book is all about storms, like hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm breaking it down to give you that positive view of it and taking that bad scenario away from it. Like I'll give you what the negative of it is and what people think the negative is, but then I switch it over to, but this is the beauty of it. And this is why anything that's negative can be turned into positive if we just look at it differently.
Absolutely. I love that approach. Very nice. I'm gonna keep an eye for that book. Speaking of authors, can you tell us about any author that inspires you? Perhaps one of your customers, one of your clients you're helping that has any interesting book coming up or is already out?
One of my clients that I'm working with now, story is very, very inspiring. The book hasn't came out, so I'm not going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Her story, just the hustle of her story was exciting. So I do enjoy the fact of working with her right now. I just finished up with one of my clients. Her name is Kenitra Collins, and she basically had to refine her worth because
Okay.
she was in a relationship that made her feel like she was worthless,
Oh,
like she wasn't important. You know, the verbal abuse, the circumstances of all of the negativity around that relationship, and just to see the growth of everything that she went through, and now she's come up on the opposite end and she's able to see her worth. That was a really great story, and I love
I
working with
love
her
that
on
one.
that.
That's a beautiful, very inspiring.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
very nice, very nice.
my other client was Lashonda Irvins, and she basically went through a near death experience.
Mine,
So her book was very motivating for me as well.
for sure.
Because she almost lost her life with childbirth. Yeah. So that was very inspiring, and her journey was inspiring, and both of them just seeing their growth. So those were the two newest ones that kind of was like, oh,
Yeah, and those type of stories definitely can help others heal as well.
yeah,
It's very,
definitely.
very nice. Well, thank you so much, Lacole, for sharing your incredible journey with us and the practical habits that can truly empower anyone to start writing their own story. Your passion for
Yeah.
helping others heal and achieve their goals is nothing short of inspiring. I really appreciate it. For anybody who is listening, who is ready to take the leap, tell your story, be sure to check Lacole's website. Please, can you share with us what is a good social media where people can find out about you, Lacole?
Okay, so you can find me on my website, which is lacolesmith.com, which is
Uh-huh.
Lacolesmith.com. You can always reach me there. And then I have my group, which is Storytelling Unleashed for writers and creators. It's a public group. You can find me there. I have a podcast that I do as well, motivational talk, dialogues, and show. You can find me on there. You can sign up to be a guest on my show as well. And then my business page is L Publishing and Consulting LLC. You can come over there and find out some good stuff about me over there as well.
Very nice. And we'll put a couple of those sites here on the podcast as well so people can reach you. Well, thank you
Yes.
so much. And remember, happiness is a habit you can build every day, and every story matters. Until next time, keep writing, keep shining, keep crafting your happiness by habit. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.